Hello, it's Sharon. So today I'm going to show you how to do some stone painting or pebble painting. I've got a selection of the ones I've already done. I'm going to pop them here so you can have a good look in a moment. I'm just going to display them for you. Oops. And then we'll move the screen so you can actually see, and I'll show you some close-ups of them as well. Right, so there we go, there's a selection. Now this one is a massive pebble that I picked up. I left it the natural stone colour underneath, and I've just painted some lovely flowers on top. And when I finished, I varnished it just to seal it and make it watertight so the paint won't wash off. This one's similar, very similar. I've just done a small, in a way it's a bit of a smaller version of this one, and I've just done some small dots around it, and that again has been varnished. Now this one here is a side facing butterfly. So there's the wing, and imagine they're both folded together, and you can see this one's got a nice varnish on top, just a clear varnish just to make it waterproof. Now I often do a bit of dot work. That's probably, well, it's quite nice. It's just a basic one. So we've got a heart there. And on this one, I've given it a full base coat of purple. And I've then painted some poppies on it. And here's another one. And if you look closely, you'll see, if we turn it round, this one is a snail. There we go. So what I suggest is you pick yourself up some pebbles. You can order these from places like Amazon, or if you know, maybe if you've got some that you've picked up on a walk or somewhere. And what I suggest is, I've just got a few here, that you give them a really good wash. Just sort of fill a washing up bowl full of water, leave them in there, give them a bit of a soak. You can put a bit of washing up liquid in if you want, but you don't have to, but just give them a bit of a soak. Then take them out. You can dry them on an old towel, and then just leave them to continue drying, sort of take the excess off them. There. And then they're ready to use. Now I'm going to show you, I've partly done it, but I'm going to show you sort of the complete, how to finish it. So here's a ladybird. Now I got myself a pebble, and I painted the bottom black and the top red. So we're now at that stage. So there's the bottom and there's the top. Now it's not the best red paint that I've ever used, but it'll do. I'm just going to give it one more coat, then we'll dry it, or leave it to dry, and it should be perfect. There. So it needed, this is its third coat of paint, and I think 3 is probably just about right. Whenever you're painting, always put yourself something down on the surface that you're using, just to keep it clean. And the good thing about using white paper is you can see exactly what you're doing. Newspaper's good, obviously, but it can be a bit distracting sometimes, so you end up sort of getting muddled up with all the print. It's a nice clear background. There. Perfect. So we've got the top part done. If you've got yourself an old flannel or something, just to have at the side, so that if your hands get messy, you can just clean them up. It's always useful. And we're going to leave that to dry. Now, I've done a bit of an example. I started it, and it's just an example of a flower. So I've got plain pebble. I've left it natural background, stone background, and we've done one layer of the flower. So now I'm going to go back in there, and we're just going to give it a second coat, but we're going to do it so we're just adding bits in. Just go around, paint like one block colour on the bottom, and then just go in with like your white, maybe a little bit of red. Just to build up that flower. There we go. of white again. Keep working round. You can always go back to the pink, thicken up that pink, make it look a bit more of a solid colour. Dip it into your palette. A palette's always useful, one with a few dimples in it, as I call them, just so you can put different paints in, and you've got a little selection. You can just paint, use what you want really. So I'm going to go with that white there, bring that down, a bit more white. Oops. Back to the pink. And there, dip that in. Go back around with the colour. You keep building that up until you've got the texture and the colour that you want. It's still a bit see-through in places, but I can still see the stone. Just going to go through, go to the white. Put a little strip of colour in there. Oops, there we go. It's a bit of a red in there. Back to the white. Going to mix it in with this red, so we'll have a little bit of darker streaks in it now. And there we have, if you can see that very well, I'm going to lift it up to the camera, the flower. So if you want to put a centre in it, which I think it'd be nice because it's got all the petals but it's not got a noticeable centre, I'm just going to put some dots in the middle. Just going to dot that round, dot dot dot. Just use that again, and more dots in the centre. Now these are useful because you might think to yourself, well, what am I going to do with it when I've painted it? You can use it as an ornament, or you can use it as a paperweight. They're very good to have on your desk just to hold things down. So there we have the flower. When that's dry, it's going to have a coat of varnish. Now if you want to give it a bit of a background, I've got some acrylic pens. So it's acrylic paint but in pen form. And I'm just going to do a few dots around my stone. Don't know if you'll be able to see them really well. Hopefully you can when I show you. I'm going to hold it up so you can see. There we have a gorgeous flower. So I'm going to pop that there. I'm going to go back to this. Now it's still a bit damp, so I've got a way of drying it. I'm just going to let it dry a bit longer and I'll be back to continue with that in a few minutes.